It's Summer Destiny 2024 Ryogoku Sumo Hall this Saturday. Pay-per-view, Wrestling Universe, easiest money to spend in the world. That's my opinion. I think
Yeah.
Wrestling Universe is the easiest money to spend. Add in that you just got to pay a little extra for this. It's going to be one hell of a show.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited to preview this. This is why Jamie's here. Jamie is here to preview this. After an hour and 24 minutes, we got to the point. We got to what we were trying to do here. That, of course, is look at the big time preview. This could very well be the show of the year for Joshi fans. I have all the confidence that it very well might be. For those listening to this preview, whether it be on podcast or YouTube, this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm going live to review this very show. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna have some guests.
I will be there.
Yep, Jamie will be there. So it's a double. It's we're getting 2 bits of the final Ross. It's a pretty big deal. You know,
2 bookings in 1 week is
yeah, we gotta it was expensive, guys. I just want everyone to know, like, I had to offer a lot of money. You know, getting the final Ross right now is tough.
I'm a big time free. I'm in my Sareee era. I'm in the big free agency, popping up here, there, and everywhere. You know, a lot of offers coming in. But when I got the offer from Scott, I was locked in. This is you know, I'm here. I'm here to stay.
It's the show. It's the show of shows, as good as it gets. Let's get into it. Starting with the opening match. I don't think this is airing. It's match 0, so it's like the pre-show match, but I hope it does because I'd like to see Rhea Sato's debut in Marigold. So it will be Kimomo Minami versus Rhea Sato. Of course, she's coming over from Seto. She's coming over from Sendai Girls, of course, and she has changed her name here. If you have figured out anything about her, she's a very big JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan, and everything she does has to do with that. I've learned. I've never seen the show, but I know that Seto comes from that. I know the pose comes from that. She is not hiding her love for her show, and I respect the hell out of that. She ain't winning. I think Kimomo Minami gets her first win here. But I think one of the most exciting things about Marigold right now is all the young talent they're adding to the roster. It's it's building blocks for the long term, right? Nanai can't go, actually Nanai probably can go forever because that's passion, baby. But not Julie. We know Julie is going to be gone eventually, and you gotta fill in. And seeing these 2 rookies get a big chance to kind of kick off Summer Destiny is really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm hoping they throw it up on like a YouTube if they do like a sometimes I know Star do that and a lot of other companies do. So hopefully we do get to see this match in some form. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen a ton of formerly Rhea Maramori, I believe, in Sendai Sendai Girls, but from what I have seen, I think she's got a lot of potential. But I'm locked in on Kimomo Minami, and I know you know that I've been locked in on Kimomo
Been
Minami.
locked in on her since she didn't debut.
Yeah, she came out there with Hanako and Aya Sakura and announced to the world she wants to be a high speed wrestler and a future ace. And I instantly bought into everything that she was saying. I think she's going to be a big talent. And then she went away, and I thought it was over. She seconded for a little while, and I was messaging Scott. I was like, "Yo, is she coming back?" But and then she didn't, and it was over. And then it wasn't, and she's back. In the most remarkable of circumstances, she's now wrestling for Marigold, and I've seen from her so far. Obviously, she's still kind of figuring a few things out in there. I do. I forgot to point out when we talked about this past Saturday's show, the weird DDT looking thing she does where she flips over. She hit a real nice one on Saturday. And obviously the first few times she did it, it looked a little hit and miss. But I think once she gets that down consistently, that's a real nice move she got there. But yeah, I think she's shown a lot of potential. I think she picks up this win here. And yeah, two exciting prospects to follow in Marigold as they build their roster for the future.
She's hit 2 of those back-to-back really clean. She's already it's a tough move to hit based off what she's going for, it looks like. But yeah, she keeps getting that in the sky's the limit, I think, in her talent. I do also like that her gear is like the opposite of Victoria Yuzuki. It's a fun little
Yeah.
tidbit there. She's really good. Be a good debut for Seto as well, and I'm looking forward to this one. I do hope it airs because I like to see. I as a Joshi fan, I think you have an appreciation for seeing the beginning for a lot of
Yeah.
wrestlers, and when we're in the beginning for both of these two, it'll be fun to see. But let's get to the main card now. That starts with Koki Amare and Chikagoto teaming up against Victoria Izuki and X. You see X and you think to yourself, who could it be? And then Pro Wrestling Wave the same day goes, Kazuna Tanaka is no longer in the company. And I go, oh, okay. Why don't we just spoil it?
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Rossi Ogawa isms. Is that whenever there's an announcement, whether it's a press conference or an X, there's always someone that leaves their promotion on the same day. When they had the first press conference and that Actress thing came out like half an hour before, it was like, oh, okay, I understand where we're going here. So I think
I remember the build up to that, and I was like, this is scary. You hear enough rumblings, and it's like, interesting. And then that happened, but this is interesting. So we don't know for sure that's Kazuna, but you can piece things together based off history. It's probably Kazuna Tanaka. If it's not Kazuna Tanaka, and it's like, I don't know who the hell is in Joshi that's free right now.
The only other person I've seen mentioned a little bit, and I don't even think it's super likely or anything because I think it is Kazuna, is Hikari Noah, who hasn't resurfaced yet. But I tend to I think this is going to be Kazuna Tanaka here.
I do too.
And if it is, then I'm all in on that. I'm all in on the Twin Tower tag team of Koki and Chikagoto. But if we're going to pair Kazuna Tanaka and Yuzuki for a little bit, then
that's the Super
I'm
Rooks.
locked in.
That's the Super Rooks. I really look forward to this match. Like I said, I think Koki and Gochika have really started to piece things together. I actually thought Gochika, for the most part, has been the better of the two, which is not what I expected because Koki is the one that receives a lot of the praise and a lot of the attention when the moves were made of people coming to Marigold. That was the one you heard about. It's like Koki this, Koki that. I thought Gochika's done a really good job. But Koki is really clicking right now. The past 2 weeks, especially, it's like, okay, I see it. It's happening because she's not, she took some time away to do her shows or whatever earlier on. So I don't think like the training, she was there for every training and whatnot. Now that she is, you're starting to see it, which is great. And Victoria Yuzuki wants to kill both of them on site. So she hates her and Gochika hate each other for some reason. She has replaced Hanako with her, and it's been wonderful. But after the match between Koki and Yuzuki last week, Yuzuki was also ready to kill her. So this should be great.
yeah. I mean, Yuzuki's already the best rookie in Joshi wrestling, but if murderous intent added into the mix, I think is quite a fun prospect. But yeah, I love pretty much everyone involved in this match, especially if Kazuna's going to be there in the mix. And yeah, Chikagoto. She's got that charisma, but she's also been showing it in the ring as well with her in-ring work, and she's constantly improving on each and every single one of these shows. So I like her a lot. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Koki as well. I think she's going to be a big star. She's got the, I think she receives more of the attention. She's got the aura that people say, which I think is a way of, calling her very attractive without saying it. But I think that's what people are going for, really. But yeah, so I like everyone involved in this match, and I'm intrigued to see who picks up the win. I think if you debuting someone on this spot, it may make sense to give them the win. But I think the Twin Tower tag team could also be major contenders for the Twin Star belts whenever they get those going. So I think either outcome is very possible here.
Speaking of potential tag team champions, I think Chiaki, Nagisa, and Nozaki are certainly in that conversation. They'll be going head to head with Myla Grace and Zeta Steel. Myla Grace and Zeta Steel trying to become the mean girls of Marigold. I don't like their chances. at
Nope.
all in this match. I think Nozaki might pin them both. Might do the Roman Reigns stack of pins at this point.
I have a pitch. I have a
Oh,
pitch.
okay.
Really interesting idea. So obviously we have Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki who are kind of linking up as the new heel tag team in Marigold, and you know we've had a few other semi alliances form across the promotion. And my assumption is down the line we're going to head in a faction oriented direction. That would be based on stuff we've seen from Rossy Ogawa before. That would be my guess. I think Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki are winning this, but I also think Zayda Steele may play a part. I think she could very well be linking up with the bad guys here. I think she makes. I know she's very funny, but she makes a lot more sense. I think as a heel, almost in like a Saki Kashima Oedo type sense. She could be kind of the comedy factor in that heel potentially trio.
I like that. I like the real deal joining Chiaki and Nozaki, especially like if they want to protect those two. Zeta can
Yeah,
also take pins. I think you're right. I think that would be really good. It would make sense because they don't really have allegiance, these two. Like, they're teaming up because they have to, essentially. Um, I think that would be good. I would like that a lot. I definitely think it's like undeniable who's winning here. It's not very hard to
yeah.
figure out. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Mhm.
I'm in for that for sure.
Yeah, I kind of hope that this is the case. I think that on this, it's a stack card. This is probably the match I'm like kind of least looking forward to, and I like a lot of people involved in it. But I think to really give it that something for
Yeah.
people to keep talking about. I think we should run an angle here, and I think we set up a big kind of heel unit.
Our first title match of the evening should be a fantastic one, as the Superfly Championship will be on the line. The first champion will be crowned as Natsumi Shozuki goes 1-on-1 with Misa Matsui.
I'm locked in. I'm so locked in.
Gotta get my Mystico claps going. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is why we watch. It's unfair to these two because I think they're gonna have an awesome match. And like maybe on a normal show, they could even have the match of the night because I think that's how good these two are, and they work together really well. This is not the show to have the match of the night, unfortunately, for them. Not their fault. There's just a lot of great competition. But I do think that this match is going to open a lot of eyes for people. If they haven't been watching, Misa Matsui is freaking fantastic. Like to me, she is Marigold's version of like a Natsupoi or someone like that can be the long-term like United National Champion type wrestler.
Yeah.
But for now, you put her in the high speed because one, she is a speed star. It's only right. And two, I think her and Shozuki's a great story to tell with this title. And it's why, despite my love for Misa Matsui and wanting her to be champion, shout out to Lewis, by the way, friend of the show. I know Lewis is very invested, so I don't mean to break the heart here. But I do think Natsumi Shozuki gets the win here. She is, of course, the vet. She is the one that I think is a good first, inaugural champion when we look back in history of Marigold. Natsumi Shozuki is a great name to say it there. And it's because you play to the underdog story of Misa Matsui, right? She's so close, but she comes up short to her senior, and she fights back to become the champion down the line. It's very much like a Mayu type story, right? It's like when we saw the IWGP title, for example, and it ended up being Kairi instead of Mayu, and I was like, oh, okay. Like this feels like it should be Misa Matsui's belt, I think. But I think Shozuki makes sense as the first champion for the long-term storytelling, especially. But it should be a super match.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think your point about it not being the match of the night, but something that's going to kind of open a lot of people's eyes is exactly how I'm feeling about this. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this show for various reasons. The two big time matches we'll get into a little later, and potentially a lot of WWE fans perhaps checking out this show with the IYO SKY on the card. I think these two are going to.
I had
Say
no
again.
idea. Oh, yeah. I said IYO SKY's on the card. I had no idea. We haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Nah, just kidding. Continue.
Getting ahead of myself. Breaking news. I've just revealed a huge announcement that IYO SKY is on the card. But yeah, I think if you're watching this and you are unfamiliar with Marigold and you're watching maybe for the first time, these are two that are going to be ones that I think people are going to walk away from wanting to see a lot more of and want to check out more shows. Particularly Misa Matsui. I like that you mentioned Lewis and the kind of Nats Boy comparison, because that's exactly why he likes Misa Matsui so much.
Yeah.
He's very much in that kind of mold. Super likable, and I think you're right in predicting Shozuki winning this one, because I think the money in someone like Misa Matsui is in the chase, in the seeing her build herself back up after this loss, presumably on Saturday. And she will absolutely get that. I know you said the high speed belt. That's a different promotion. Getting that Superfly Championship down the line. But and I think the last time I was here on the 5 Star Show, you mentioned a backstage promo with these two, where Shozuki mentioned about being kind of sort of in the latter stages of her career, whilst Misa quite funnily said that she's got another 15 or so years left in her. So I think putting the belt on Shozuki now, kind of having that veteran, kick off this Superfly division, whilst you have someone like Matsui on the chase, I think is the absolute perfect move.
Yeah, I think Shizuki could have a really good defense. It'll be interesting to see how this title goes, obviously, because it's not specifically a high speed title. So, with Matsui, I feel like it would be more leaning that way. With Shizuki, I think you get some more traditional matches. But I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. And cheap plug, check out my Misa Matsui article over on Fightful.com. She was very honest, very open, very natural. Legitimately one of my favorite interviews ever. She's, she shares her thoughts about.
I was going to say I had the chance to read it just before we went live on this show, and it is absolutely one of the best interviews I've read in a long, long time. So, big props to you, but also, shout out to Misa Matsui, who, as you said, a super honest interview, more so than I think you've seen from pretty much any wrestler in these interviews. So yeah, very, very awesome interview.
Yeah, she talks about this big opportunity, getting to wrestle at Ryogoku and leaving Actress Girl, something that she said she always wanted to do, which I found interesting. So just kind of go check that out, read why. Very excited for her in the big match. She should absolutely kill it against Shizuki. That's also the reason I'm very excited for this match. These two know each other well. It's not like, this is a trial type match. Like, all right, let's see how you do two click. They're gonna click. They're gonna go out there and do the best for each other.
I also just checked out. It's probably changed by the time you watch this video when it goes up. But Marigold put up a little poll on who you thought was gonna win this match. And whilst I think both of us agree that Shozuki's taking it, it was like right down the middle. People can't call it, and I think that speaks to how popular and how likable Misa Matsui has become. Because I think the right move for this match is Shozuki, but I think a lot of people are really rooting for her, and I think that's what makes the decision to not have her win the title immediately all that much better, because I think they're going to build a lot of momentum with her. And yeah, if it becomes the sort of not identical to a high speed title, but more of kind of just a mid card belt in the promotion, I think you already have a few people lined up that could be added into the mix of that division, the likes of a Yuzuki, maybe a Chiaki, and a few others. So
for sure,
it's exciting times, but I'm looking forward to this one a lot.
Next up, it's time. Let's talk about passion, folks.
Let's get into it.
Let's talk about passion. This is Marigold versus LLPWX. Nanae Takahashi, Naoya Ishikawa, Mai Sakurai versus Shinobu Kantori, Takako Inoue, and Nori. I fear for Naoya Ishikawa because we have seen in recent weeks, passion has given her zero fear. Sareee Miedo. She will go into the face of the beast and not back down. She's done it with Bozilla. She does it with everyone. She doesn't care who you are. She's going to step up and fight. I wouldn't do that with Shinobu Kandori, personally.
That's a different beast altogether. That's
Yeah, Shinobu Kandori's scary in the right ways, right? Shinobu Kandori, obviously a legend as well as Takako in a way. This match is one I look at and like, this can be like that under the radar, like really good trios match that maybe no one's putting much into because you see the legends and maybe you just don't you don't look at it as like, oh, it's gonna be like this. We learned last year Kandori can still kind of go,
yeah.
Kandori can still kind of go. Takako's solid as well. And I obviously believe in Nanai, like we know what Nanai can do. When Nanai and Kandori square up in the middle of the ring, I'm just gonna be yelling passion, 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 just like Now did. But I feel like there's only one end to this match, and it's poor Now getting pinned by Shinobu Kandori.
Yeah, I think she's been training hard, very, very hard. The passion, has been injected, but I'm not sure whether even someone full of passion would be able to take down Shinobu Kandori at this stage. And I like that you point out the the last time we saw these two on the Stardom show. I think we both have a lot of thoughts on how successful that kind of legend show was. They were certainly a mixed level in how well some of the
Wasn't
legends
a fan
performed.
of most of that show.
Yeah, but if you had to pick two of the legends that appeared on that show, and pluck them and put them on this Marigold show, I don't think you could have picked two better names than Shinobu Kandori and Takako Inoue. So I'm very fired up for this. Like you said, the Nanai and Shinobu interactions are going to be electrifying. I'm also interested to see Nori. I'm not super familiar with Nori, so I think her
Former
being in the
ice
mix.
ribbon wrestler.
Yeah, so I haven't seen a ton of her work, but so I think she's going to have a lot of eyes on her in this one too. So I'm interested to see how she gets on. But yeah, this one's all about Naoya Ishikawa stepping up to the plate and getting put down. I think by Shinobu Kandori, but I think it's going to only fire her up even more.
Yeah, I think so too. I just like when any former ice ribbon wrestler ever is in a company that features Giulia. It's just funny. It's just
Yeah,
like
we gotta
can't
we gotta find
resist.
those two into. We gotta keep it like CM Punk and the Elite backstage. We gotta keep them apart.
Exactly. You just can't resist it,
Yeah.
But this should be a lot of fun. I also am excited for Mai Sakurai hit the pose while Kandori's in the ring. And she'd be like,
Oh yeah,
"What?" Just like when Tam was doing it to Kandori for the Legend show. It was really entertaining. I think Mai hitting the little pose that she does it'll be good stuff. It'll be good watch. This is kind of that fun match in the middle. It's not supposed to be anything super serious, but it could be. That's the thing. Like
yeah.
it could be.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but should be good. But let's get to the heat of the show. We're all in now
Here we
for the
go.
fourth and final time. Mirai versus Miku Aono, United National Title finalist match. The winner goes on to, of course, face the motherfucking
Obviously,
Godzilla. So let's talk about the first match, and we'll get to the idea of someone having to wrestle Bozilla later in the night. I'm kind of hoping this kicks off the main card.
yeah,
It's one, it'd be great, it'd be exciting, it'd be hot. Also, the fact that one of them gonna wrestle Bozilla later in the night, give them a little leeway, you know.
yeah.
I'm super excited for this. You would think 4 matches in a month would not leave me super excited for it. I think for some people they think that's kind of like overkill or something. But here's the thing: all 3 matches have been great. They
Hmm.
haven't missed, and these two just have clicked, I think, and it's only gotten better and better. And now on the big stage of Ryogoku, these two deserve this spot. These two deserve the big
Yeah,
singles match. I think Mirai wins. I do. I think Mirai wins and goes on to the match with Bozilla. But in a way, them going the 4 matches has really helped establish Miku as she's the real deal. She'll have her day. It may not be yet, but she'll have her day. I just think Mirai makes a lot of sense against Bozilla as well. They've shown good chemistry. her as the underdog after finally beating Miku is a very exciting thing to think about, I think, as well, just based off how she's been going. But, I don't think, again, it's a tough night to have the match of the night. It really is.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think this is going to be great. Like, I think they're
Mhm.
going to get a fourth feather in the cap. I think this can be the best. Depends how long they go, but I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to this one. I think if you had to rank the best matches we've seen in Marigold so far, I think a considerable portion of that list would make up the matches we've seen between these two. And I would
Yeah.
not be surprised if that continues this weekend. And again, I think this is going to be something we look back on, down the line when both of these two are kind of right at the top of the promotion. And we look back and say this is where this kind of legendary rivalry started. I think we're going to see this many more times for years to come, but this is where it all kind of culminates in this chapter. I tend to think Mariah's winning. I have another interesting pitch. I don't think they're going to do it. What if they did? What if they did the draw again? Right?
Yeah.
For the that might be overkill, right? But and if they again, I'm going to pitch for the Bozilla match. If they do the draw, it would make sense to then do a triple threat. And I don't think they're going to do it because I think if the triple threat was going to happen, they would have
They would have done it already.
announced it beforehand. But I think in terms of the structure of that match, I think a triple threat would benefit everyone involved in terms of how you plug in someone like Bozilla into
Yeah.
a match. And I'm not the biggest fan of triple threats, but I just think with the people involved, it would make sense. But I do tend to think that Mariah gets this, and I think Miku has been elevated so much already by her involvement in this. But as you said, she's only going to continue to go onwards and upwards, and whether it's the white belt or the red belt, she's going to be a champion in the very, very near future, I think. But Mariah is the big star so far in Marigold. She's been super fired up, so I think it's her time.
In an odd way, Mariah's kind of felt like the ace because
Yeah.
of the positioning she's been in, but she showed up, she's delivered. Um, this is like 7 aces in this company if you're to listen to certain people. Actually, if you listen to one person, there's only one ace, and she doesn't even she's not even a member of the roster. Shout out to Sareee. But yeah, I think this is going to be great. I think they're going to go 2 for 2. Sorry, 2 for 2, 4 for 4 in delivering their great matches. And then, of course, that brings us to Bozilla versus Mariah potentially. I think Bozilla is for sure your first United National Champion. You don't have the monster lose, right? You're building Bozilla up to be this monster that someone down the line will overcome. Will that be a Mirai or Miku? I'm sure it will. It just makes sense naturally. Somewhere, who knows, 6 months from now or something like that, when Bozilla is this unbeatable force, one of them wins and you gain so much from that. Um, I'm really interested to see what Bozilla does in this show. We saw her in the Marigold Feels Forever main event absolutely go crazy. Had a star-making performance. She hasn't really had to do that since, right?
Mhm.
It's been a lot of just like quick dominating squashes. Even against Nozaki, she didn't have to do a lot. I mean, that was a good match, but she didn't have to do a lot. This will be a big challenge for her, and I think you put Mariah in there because of the experience as well. Maybe trying to tackle Bozilla in many ways. If she takes Bozilla down once, it's one of the biggest pops of the night.
Yeah.
So it'll be really good. She'll probably be all taped up because she usually is, anyways. Um, but Bozilla winning in the end, I think that's the perfect spot for this match.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think she's taken it. I think she's been an absolute revelation, hasn't she? I mean, she stepped up to the plate hugely in that first tag team match at Marigold Feels Forever. And she was, in there with three of the absolute best in Utami, Giulia, and of course, Sareee. She left that match kind of getting the biggest reactions out of a lot of them. And I think that's actually an interesting point to make going into this match, because if it is Mirai, as we're kind of both expecting, I'm interested to see what the sumo hall crowd who they kind of side with, because
Yeah.
we know how popular Mariah is. She's arguably the most popular in the promotion, but Bozilla gets loud chants whenever she's in these big matches. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see who the crowd pick out as their favourites here. But I think Bozilla is going to once again step up to the plate and have a really great performance. Again, if there's people watching this show who haven't seen Marigold, this is their first time watching, I think she's going to do a bit of a repeat of what she did in their first show, and I think she's going to grab all the headlines coming out of this one. I think she's going to be even more popular than before, and I think she will be the first white belt champion.
I think Mirai or Miku has a real good chance to just have two like 4+ star matches on this show.
Yeah.
Assuming the Bozilla match isn't a complete squash, which I highly doubt it would be. Just like the underdog fighting back is such an easy match to just invest yourself in. So that's why I'm really excited for it, especially in a packed Ryogoku, which I'm looking forward to. But it's time, folks.
Here we go.
The dream of all dreams. Queen of Queen. Utami Hayashishita versus IYO SKY. I legitimately get giddy looking at this graphic every single time. I got giddy when it first popped up on the screen back at the last Corkin. I got giddy again when they put it on the screen at the press conference, and I got giddy again just looking at it right now. Because listen, we got through that godforsaken Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I can fully believe now that it's happening. Damn it, IYO made sure to give me 7 heart attacks along the way, but we're here. We are here. Utami versus IYO. The greatest of Queen's Quest going head to head. It's everything. This is a legitimate dream match. It legitimately felt impossible. It was a dream, and they have somehow managed to make it a reality. For many Joshi fans, not just Stardom, not just like many Joshi fans, I think IYO is someone that got them into it. For me, that is just the truth. IYO got me into Joshi, and I've never looked back. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, one of the all-time greats. That is what IYO is. And Utami, since that moment IYO left, has become one of the best in the world. And IYO had this great interview with Tokyo Sports that came out on Monday, where she talked about how, she learned that Utami got into wrestling because of her. She's like, I'm not used to that, which is crazy. Like, IYO, you are literally like everything to most people. Like, you were the star of Stardom for years on years, but okay. And she said, the best dreams are the ones that can't be easily, like, they can't happen the easiest, right? And I think that's incredible because it's almost like she knew it would happen. IYO, that is. It's just, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. It's gotta be right. Had Utami versus IYO happen when IYO was leaving, it would not have the same feeling as it does now in any way, right? Utami didn't even debut yet when IYO left. It feels right. Utami's at the top of her game. Truly, like, I don't think there's many better than her right now. She just feels like on another level. And IYO is coming off a WrestleMania championship match. A WrestleMania championship match. Yeah. Like, this is the height of her powers in many ways. We know IYO's winning, right? We all know IYO's winning. It doesn't matter. It's going to be the moment that the music hits, right, for both of them, and they walk down to the ring. We get the great IYO WWE theme going crazy. I'm sure it's the WWE theme she's coming out to, which is great. It's one of the best themes in WWE. And she just makes her way to the ring and they face off. It feels surreal to think about. It's one of those things that's like, all right, I'm not gonna believe it until I see it type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact we even have the graphic at all is amazing. And I can't wait. They have a press conference this Friday. I'm guessing she's probably going to be there, which will just be another pinch me moment. This is the match of the year.
Yeah.
In terms of just hype, it's the match of the year.
It doesn't get any bigger. Before I actually break it down, I like that you mentioned Money in the Bank. I watched it live, and for some reason, it didn't hit me until she made her entrance. Like I saw her making her. I was watching the show, and then she made her entrance, and I just thought, fuck. This is it.
That's
This is where it all comes crashing down. And then she, and then she went out and wrestled the match that she did at Money in the Bank, and I was even more worried. But thankfully, she appeared to make it out unscathed. But my God, she had me worried. But anyway, it's gonna happen. It's happening right. This Saturday we're finally getting it. It's the dream match of all dream matches for Joshi fans. I think. You pointed out there's been chances potentially for it to happen before. Obviously, as EO left, Utami was just kind of coming in, and I think had that, as you mentioned, had that happened, it would have been a fun match at the time, but it wouldn't have had the weight it obviously does now. There was also that short period where it looked like EO may have been leaving WWE, and that was a chance for it. I assume people assume she would have headed back to Stardom at that point. Which of course would have been a huge deal at the time. But now I think it's even more intriguing because Utami's now in the position where she's right at the top of a new promotion, a new exciting promotion, and this is their first pay-per-view at Sumo Hall, which is a massively ambitious move for Marigold, and it's the first in kind of WWE and Marigold working together as it looks like they will be doing. And it also has the backdrop. Obviously, nothing to do with Marigold, has the backdrop of Queen's Quest, recently kind of disbanding, or all the members leaving bar Kamatani and the flag. So there's a lot of history behind it, and that goes, that's without even mentioning the caliber of wrestler that we have in this match. EO is obviously one of the all-time greats, but even now in WWE, she is consistently the best women's wrestler on that roster. Every single Monday, she's delivering. If she's in a match on Monday nights, it's got a high chance of being one of the best matches on the show, particularly when she's on the pay-per-view shows. Just had a great reign as champion that obviously ended at a huge WrestleMania match. And Utami is, as you say, Scott, one of the best in the world, and in a really intriguing position right now in this new promotion, where it looks like she's going to be, someone who's arguably going to be the ace of the company. I know there's a lot of people fighting for that title, but this is everything for Joshi wrestling fans. EO is going to win because of course she is, and like you said, it doesn't matter. But the fact we're getting it at all is absolutely huge, and the fact that it's not even the main event speaks to how incredible this show is going to be. So I think this is going to be the one that's going to draw a lot of people into Marigold for the first time. It's going to be a show where a lot of people discover Utami Hayashishita for the first time if you're coming for IYO SKY. And I do not think anyone is going to be disappointed. I think there's going to be a lot of people sticking around. And yeah, match of the year contender for sure.
Yeah, in terms of like most hyped matches, like through the past couple of years, we've had a lot. This is right there for me with Mayu and Mercedes, Mayu and Sareee.
Mm-hmm.
This is right there. If not in some ways, in terms of just like the idea of it happening in the current form, right? With EO being still a WWE wrestler, it's incredible. I mean, the thing about this result is that in no way should Utami be beating EO in the first time they square off.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. And I don't think this will be the only time they square off. I really don't. I think there's potential down the line for these two to go head to head again. And whenever that happens, whether it's a year, 2, 3, Utami gets that win back. But for now, this is about Utami trying to rise to the occasion and rise to the spot and wrestle someone she sees as the reason she became a wrestler in the first place. And you just sit here and you think about the possibilities in this match, right? Utami's so good with wrestlers, as the powerhouse wrestler. She's so good against these wrestlers that can fly and run, and there's no one better than EO at doing that, right? You kind of, the possibilities are endless of what this match can be and how exciting this match is. It's just going to be so surreal though when they get in the ring against one another. I don't know if Utami's gonna cry. I don't know if I'm gonna cry. I don't know if we're all gonna cry. But that's the beauty of this match. It is truly a dream match. It's something that feels like years in the making, and it's actually happening. It's pretty awesome.
It's incredible. I like that you point out as well the kind of dynamics in terms of their in-ring style too. But I also think, and I just mentioned how great IYO's been on WWE, TV and the pay-per-view. She's probably the best women's wrestler consistently for them. But even still, this is her first match in a long, long time in Japan. And part of me feels like she's got a few gears to go up, even as good as she is. So all that together, I just think this is going to be absolutely sensational. And I think if she does go up those gears and Utami delivers on what we know she can do, this is going to be truly, truly special. And I think the next match we're going to talk about is another contender for match of the night, but I would never bet against these two. So it's going to be really tough.
It's tough. It's tough. The one thing I will say also about this is, like, whether it's IYO Shirai, whether it's IYO SKY, the levels of ability for her, I think, are so far above most wrestlers. Like, IYO had this fantastic match against Bayley at WrestleMania. One of her best matches in WWE. It was like the first time in a long time you watched her dial it up to that level. It was that stardom level almost. Yeah. I still think she had more levels than that. We've seen it in stardom. And I think she is, like you said, she is going to dial it all the way up. One, because she gets to wrestle for Rossi again. Obviously the three daughters of stardom. That was Mayu, Kairi, and IYO for a reason. There's a reason he went out of his way to try and get IYO on this show. Listen, people can say all they want about the WWE stuff. If you didn't think he was going to do everything in his power to finally book IYO again, you're nuts. It's like, all right, you can have Giulia, but I'm getting some too.
It pops me, man. People are aiming for it, but fucking put that WWE logo right in there.
Oh yeah,
do it.
It's not on the match graphics. Stunning.
He can go to all the WrestleManias and the NXT shows in his WrestleMania hoodie that he wants. He can he can throw that off. But if this is the outcome, do it. I
might start wearing a WrestleMania hoodie too if we're gonna keep getting this. It's incredible. I can't wait. It's as big a match as there is this year for me.
Yeah.
Sareee and Mayu was, those are my two favorite wrestlers. These two aren't far behind. It's like, and this is more of a dream. IYO's the reason I'm into this. The reason I'm watching the reason I talk on this damn show. I'll be writing about this for WrestlePurists. I'll be out later this week if you want to see that. A little more into the history, not too much, because like, if the history isn't fully there between the two in terms of like they went past each other. They never clicked in the ring because they never faced off. They never wrestled at the same time in stardom, but the history is there in terms of Queen's Quest and the importance and the leadership and all that. So something to look out for as we head into Queen of Queen, Utami Hayashishita versus IYO SKY. But let's get to our main event of the evening. Crazy that I just said Utami versus IYO SKY, and then I say, let's get to our main event now.
Yeah, it's a very good problem to have when you have two matches and you don't know which is the right main event, because either of these two could main event any show. But
Marigold Fields Forever. It was announced that Giulia would go one-on-one with Sareee at Summer Destiny 2024. And the build to this match has not gone as expected, yet it feels massive. It's Giulia versus Sareee. And we sit here right now. It is Tuesday, July 9th, and we don't know if Giulia's officially cleared yet. But you know what? The fact we're so close, the fact we're almost there, I'm confident it's just going to happen. Like, we're not calling, at the buzzer. Giulia is getting in this ring. I have believed this every step of the way since the moment that wrist broke. She's not missing this show.
Yeah.
Put a cast on.
She's been, we talked about it earlier in the show. She's been so dedicated to Marigold, and it's obvious how important it has been to it. I mean, we heard all the reports even before the promotion was in existence that she was going to be there for Rossy Ogawa's new project before heading to the WWE. And it's obviously been, very unfortunate that she's been unable to do everything that she wanted to do, but she's still been there, kicking off all the shows, doing the show rundowns. And the type of character that Giulia is. She was going to wrestle at this match regardless. I think.
I just don't see a world where you could keep her out. I don't.
Yeah, and we have the press conference on the Friday, I believe the date, which will be the day before, where I think we'll officially learn, the the outcome of the medical analysis that we've been longer waiting for on Giulia's wrist. But I'm with Scott. I'm very confident that this match will be going ahead. And we just talked about dream matches in the match prior, but this is another one that's right up there. This is Sareee is the best women's wrestler, in fact, the best wrestler in the world right now.
I was gonna say it with your chest.
Yeah,
best wrestler,
the best wrestler right now, regardless of gender. She is on a absolutely a different level. I had earlier in the year, I had it right together with her and Mayu. And Mayu is still obviously incredible, the greatest of all time. But Sareee being involved in Marigold has meant that she's wrestling consistently, and that is dangerous for anyone that isn't Sareee in the rest of the year chase, because now we just get to see more of her, and she delivers every single time. Giulia, obviously, on the other hand, is one of the best wrestlers in the world. We saw her in Stardom, but we haven't. We've only seen one match from her in Marigold, and we don't know how much more we're going to get to see of her after. It was great, and much like Mirai. She looked like she had a lot more energy and motivation in that first match to kind of step up and be someone who leads this promotion. And I think she's going to be full of that again here. Obviously, in the main event of a huge show at Sumo Hall. And I think also that the kind of I think in terms of appearance stylistically, it's so interesting because Giulia has certain tendencies to kind of she likes to grapple every now and again. The Hideki Suzuki in her kind of comes out a little bit. But what makes Giulia special is the fire that she brings out, the aggression and the intensity. And I don't think there's a better opponent in wrestling for her that'll bring that out to the highest level than Sareee, who does that with pretty much everyone she faces. We also, if this match is going ahead, it looks like it's going to be for the Marigold World Championship. And I think the result of coming out of this one would be really interesting. And we can get into that right now. But just as a match, another contender back to back for match of the year if it lives up to its hype. It looks like there was a funny report not too long ago that Giulia was going to do some like metal hand gimmick, which has popped me ever since. The idea of potentially winning this with like a knockout blow, that's an intriguing prospect. But regardless of how they play, this is going to be can't miss, just as the previous match was. And I'm rocking with Sareee.
Yeah. I talk about Sareee a lot on this show. Cheap plug. 4th interview with Sareee out now on FiveO.com. She talks about this match. She talks about her excitement for this match. This is one she really wants. I think that says a lot to where these two are going to be willing to go in this match. It's one that Sareee has called one of the most important matches in her career, the biggest match in her career, and one that she wants to go down in history. Add in the way we've gotten here, and it makes it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more scary. But listen,
it's built up the anticipation, right? Even though they haven't had the build. I think people want it more because it's been kind of dangled in front of us and potentially pulled away, right? I think that's built up the excitement.
It's the moment that one of these two slap each other in the face once where it's like, oh no, here we go. It's going to be physical. Listen, I don't know how many more she has in her, but I know Giulia's getting her shoot headbutt in. I know that's happening. She can't resist. She has a entire probably big money deal waiting for her in WWE, but she can't hold back. I think this match not only could be one of the best all year, but it's going to be very important setting this precedent for Marigold moving forward as the big world title main event. It's already been said, if Giulia's cleared, this is for the world title.
Yeah.
That brings us to who wins. It's a legitimate toss-up because Giulia, if reports are to be believed, Giulia is supposed to already be in NXT. If reports are to be believed, she's already supposed to be there, and she's not. I don't know what her time span is in terms of when she goes to WWE essentially full time. You would think she's going to be on the next NXT PLE because if she was supposed to be on Heatwave, that would be the follow up. And that's the point of like, how much is she going to be around? How much is she going to be able to build up big matches? And then you have, of course, Sareee calling herself the Ace, and it wouldn't hurt to have Sareee be world champion. I'll tell you that. Would not hurt at all. It's actually my preferred option. I legitimately don't know who wins this match. Like, when it was originally announced, it was Giulia. Like, oh yeah, 100%. It's just gonna be Giulia. It makes sense. But with the injury, maybe WWE wants her over a little bit sooner, right? Maybe WWE wants her a little bit more exclusive now, just so they don't want their wrestler to get hurt and, maybe ruin plans or something. Not that, she's going to try to get hurt, but it just happens, right? The style that's being wrestled here happens. If I have the book, which, Rossi, I will take the book if you want to give it to me. Trust me. I got some ideas. If I had the book, I'm putting the world title on Sareee because I think Sareee has set up so many big matches in this company by pissing everyone off, by calling herself the Ace, with the natural match being, in the end, her and Utami. I think I'd put the title on Sareee. And with that, you also don't have to jump through the hoops of, oh, Giulia is now world champion, but she's also NXT women's champion, and she can't lose at all, right? Like, jumping through that hoop is going to be tough if that comes around, which I feel like it would. Could have potentially already happened. We don't know. So I think it's safer to, Giulia's going to be unbeatable at one point. Let her walk around with the NXT championship in Marigold for a wild thought. For some of the big shows, put the world title on Sareee. That way, you've got two big plays moving forward. You got a big Sareee title match. You got the big Giulia match, whatever it is. And you got, of course, the United National and things like that. So maybe it's just my heart wanting Sareee to win, but I think Sareee should win this match.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I also understand the toss up that may be going through the head of the promotion. I think it's super tough. Obviously, there's all the speculation about when Giulia is going to, be headed to NXT, how much she's going to be jumping between. I think that's a really interesting point. We know that she's heading there soon, but there's been varying reports on how much she's going to flow between the two. And I think the injury adds an added bit of speculation on that, because you can imagine WWE in general, previously pretty much don't let their talent do both consistently. They've had like a few instances where they've signed someone and let them finish their dates, but this seems like, at least from reporting, that it's going to be a little bit more than that. But with her sustaining an injury in her first match, you can imagine them getting a little bit spooked and being like, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't let Giulia do as much as she'd like to." I think then the issue becomes, Giulia is such a big name, and obviously, even if she's not there consistently, she'll be in and around the promotion. When do they have her consistently again, even for just a period, where they get the chance to crown her as world champion? I imagine they'll want her in the lineage of the top belt in the promotion. This may be their only chance to do it, unless other down the line, I guess there's potential, but I assume she's going to be a smash hit for WWE and will be like a WrestleMania level star for them. And at that point, how often does she get the chance to even go to Marigold entirely? So there's all that. But the heart, just as as you were saying, is very much with Sareee. She's someone who, as much as she isn't signed or anything, she will be around. She obviously loves working Marigold, and she's had huge matches this year even. But she mentioned that this is the match that she's, kind of means everything for her, and she's obviously enjoyed working for the promotion so far. The thing about her being an ace as an outsider makes for the perfect story as champion, because, as you say, there's going to be a litany of of challengers. They're going to step up to the plate for her, whether that's the Utamis of the world, whether that's a Yuzuki when she rises, throughout the ranks. So if I had to make a prediction, it's so tough. I think there's another factor, that is that because they wouldn't have put the belt on the line if Giulia wasn't there. Does that suggest that Giulia is winning, or is that just a case of they want the title match to be this match in particular?
Yeah.
And I think that's the distinction, because I've seen people speculate that Giulia is winning because if Giulia wasn't there, it wouldn't be the belt. But again, it's that point that if Giulia isn't in this match, I don't think they do have the chances down the line to do this title. So I think Sareee will win, and I hope Sareee will win. I would not complain at all if Giulia gets the title.
No, it's a win-win, to be fair.
Yeah, the double champion thing would be interesting. Maybe she appears on NXT with that belt too. I don't know. I think she'd certainly bring the NXT title to Marigold. So it's very intriguing, but I think we're both all in on Sareee. I don't think you don't think you get much better of a first champion than Sareee.
No, you don't. I just think there's a lot of booking difficulties if Giulia is champion, but then they're like, all right, we want her full time now. It's like, oh, then your first champion doesn't even probably drop the belt. It's just, it's me trying to avoid, in many ways, possibilities there, while also just putting the belt on someone that I think is the best wrestler in the world. It's not a bad thing. I could even see them do a quick reign for Giulia just to get her in the lineage and then lose it. But do you want to do that with your world title? I feel like you want a strong first reign. And I just don't think Giulia can give you a strong first reign. Not because she's not good enough to do it. It's because I don't think she's going to be around enough to do it. And then we want her to drop it to someone and, trying to get that figured out. I'm not crowning Giulia unless I know 6 months from now or however many months from now she can drop it to whoever, Sareee, she could drop it whenever and have a great reign and be on all your Cork and Hall shows and build up big matches. She's already built up 7 big matches. It's easy, but I think that's the exciting part of this main event. It's not 100% on either way, and I'm not going to be upset either way. I just want a fantastic match. And guess what? When I read Sareee, I know it's going to be a fantastic match. This is how it goes. But that, folks, is the Marigold Summer Destiny 2024 preview.